big play. VA looks to build on his impressive performance against the Montreal Alouettes, where he threw for 291 yards and 1 touchdown. On the other side of the field tonight, Mason Fine making just his 3rd start as Trevor Harris is sidelined for the foreseeable future. Will not be an easy goal for him tonight against this BC Lions defense, to say the least. It is Saturday Night Football. We've got the BC Lions. We've got the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We've got watermelons in the house for some reason. Maybe we can use these and not get fired.
Smash the cake.
Set. Alongside David Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stiegel. Stop peer pressuring me, all of you. I said the BC Lions defense because it will be difficult for Mason Fine. 21 sacks on the season already. This is going to be a tough task, Davis.
Yeah, no doubt. That defensive line is excellent. They got a good group back there with the secondary. I don't see a whole lot of holes in this defense. No. The way the Riders can win this game, though, is their guy.
First almost had me, still going, and will get taken down just shy of the 25. Let's take a look at Vernon Adams.
25-15 in his career. He is 4-1 this year, as I mentioned, and 500 against the Saskatchewan Roughriders in his career, 1-1. And as you mentioned, BC coming off the bye, had a chance to heal up, some fresh legs underneath them, have a couple seafood dinners, get ready for action here tonight.
Only quarterback in the league averaging over 300 yards passing per game this season. He has Shivers, who was sensational in his debut a couple of weeks ago, in beside him, and they'll give it to Shivers. And he breaks 1 tackle and stays on his feet, still going. Shivers early on will not be denied. Took about 4 guys to eventually force him out of bounds.
Well, they're telling us that Suk Chung, the coaching staff, saying Suk Chung playing great this season and really leading that group up front in the offensive line for BC. And then you just saw him, Sean Shivers is started in the last game a couple of weeks ago and played very well in that one. Taquan Mizell is very close, but they're going to give him 1 more week, and Shivers gets another run, and that was pretty special, just right out of the gate, the first one.
A hard 5 yards puts him in a 2nd and 5 situation. VA with some pressure, trying to get away, and finally just has to throw that ball out of bounds. Boy, the Riders came in a hurry there, and a few of them had a pretty good look at him.
You know, I think when the Riders are putting their defensive game plan together tonight, they look at the BC Lion receiving corps. They look at what VA's done with averaging over 300 yards passing per game. And the key tonight for BC, or for Saskatchewan on defense, will be pressure. So they send linebacker pressure there with both Micah Tights and Larry Dean.
Flintoft standing on his own 15. Ooh, got that one away just in time. Alford waiting for it, takes it at the 31. 51-yard kick. Alford looking for an edge. Maru Alford will get it out to the 50, and he bounces himself out of bounds. An excellent starting field position for that man, Mason Fine, in his 3rd career start.
Well, I mentioned the 12,000 yards at North Texas. At one point, Mason Fine in his college career was named the #1 quarterback in Texas. It's kind of like being named the #1 fish in the ocean.
It'd be amazing if they actually had those ratings out there somewhere. That'd be great. Fine in a tough spot here against this BC defense. Let's see what he's got. He'll hand it off to Jamal Morrow. A nice way to start for a young quarterback. Decent pickup on 1st down for this Riders offense.
Been a bit of a rotation at left tackle for them. They get Brandon Council back in. They played there with Gerald Hawkins and Eric Lofton last week. Council healthy again and back at left tackle. And try and protect Mason Fine, especially the young quarterback, get the run game going. And there's the guy who answered the Hail Mary. Tevin Jones. Took the lead against Calgary, ended up losing seconds later.
Phenomenal finish. That was a 69-yarder for a touchdown there. Fine over the middle, has a completion to Watson, but he was tied up by Rugamba, and that will bring up 3rd down after a pickup of just 2. What do you look for him to establish early in this football game, Suits?
Well, I think what Matt Dunnigan said before the game is bang on, is that, you know, I'm sure Kelly Jeffrey tonight will try and mix things up, get the run game going, try to get the offensive line getting some balance so that they don't put too much pressure and ask Mason Fine to throw from deep in the pocket on 2nd and long too often.
Flags right at the line of scrimmage here before this ball is snapped. 2-0 for BC to start. 2-0 the other way for the Riders, unless this penalty is against the Lions.
Procedure, Saskatchewan, number 48. It's a 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So that will back the Riders up. And they'll kick this thing away. Talk about this Saskatchewan offense already missing so many of their starting receiving core. Now their starting quarterback, and more of their depth will be tested here this evening in Vancouver. Korsak's kick taken by Williams just inside the 20. 41-yard kick is brought back just outside the 25. And that is where Vernon Adams will get the ball for the 2nd time today when we return. An excellent start to the season. 9 touchdowns and over 1,500 yards already for VA. Back quite a ways to find the last time the Lions actually beat the Riders here in BC, way back on August 5th, 2017. It's a little bit of a surprising streak, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a double take.
Yeah.
You know, because this Lions team has been very good here at home past years.
Adams starts this time on his own 27. 4 options out to his right. That's where he looks. Nobody there. In trouble. A flag on the play as Micah Johnson gets there first to take him down. Well, Jason's bringing some pressure here.
Yeah, Jason Shivers, Dustin, is going to...
BC number 51. That penalty's declined. 2nd down.
You know, Jason Shivers, defensive coordinator for Saskatchewan, he is going to hope that they can get pressure with 4 guys, and this is what they do on this one, because Micah Johnson just beats his man right down the middle, and that's the quickest lane to the quarterback. Just a great push to collapse the pocket there, but he may have to send more pressure.
2nd and 18 for Adams. Lots of pressure this time. Gets it away. That'll be complete. And trying to break the tackle there, hanging on for dear life was Dalkey as the big man Javon Catoy hauls in his 16th pass of the year for 8 yards.
You got Larry Dean as one of the blitzers on this play, and this is what I mean. Now, this is 2nd and long, but they're not going to drop here. There's tights off the edge. Larry Dean down the middle. Go with the pressure to force the quick throw, the hot read from Vernon Adams. He gets that. Now Vernon Adams hoping for a couple of broken tackles there by Catoy, but Jaden Dalkey says, nah.
Alford takes it at the 30. Mario Alford looking for the near side, and he's taken down. Nice tackle there from the combo as Alford could not get to the edge and turn that ball upfield.
Well, this magic season for Matthew Betts continues. 9 sacks. Leads the league, leads his team. Here's the starting lineup. He's got 9 on the season. That is actually more sacks than the Saskatchewan Roughriders had coming in as a team. They get Racumba back at the linebacker spot, and that means Quincy Moget will start back at safety. He didn't 2 weeks ago. It was Adrian Green.
Fine with pressure, dumps it off to Morrow. Morrow looking for a block, won't get it, but picks up about 5 yards on 1st down.
So that to me is an extended run play. Get Morrow involved, swing pass high percentage, and it lets Mason Fine settle in. He's not deep in the pocket trying to throw a 20-yard dig route into traffic early on in the game. He may have to do that as it progresses, but get him settled in.
2nd and 5 for the Riders on their own 48 here on a Saturday afternoon in Vancouver. Fine keeps this one, has a man wide open, and that is hauled in by Sean Bain Jr., and he's got a first down. Bain, I think, was surprised that he was so open when he caught that ball.
Yeah, real nice play-action pass and get Fine on the edge. He's a real good athlete, can run very, very well. Last week in relief after Trevor Harris got hurt, he went 6 for 8, 122 yards and a couple of touchdowns, including that Hail Mary.
11 yards for Bain, puts him at 320 on the season. Fine keeps it himself again, has another completion, and Rugamba is there to wrap up Bain, who hauls in another one for just 3 yards.
Well, that's a real nice tackle by Rugamba, and that's why the Lions are real happy to have him back. This is a ways to go in your inside position from that linebacker spot for Rugamba. Easy to overrun that in the tackling. And that cutback, that's exactly what Bain tried to do. 33. Hog-tied him.
Mason Fine, a 4 for 4 start to this ball game. Wasn't ready for the snap. Picks it up and will be taken down at midfield. Woody Barron was there to take advantage of the bobble.
I don't know if you give this one credit to the crowd and the home team, or was it a mistake in the snap count? But Mason Fine was looking at the formation and at the defense. He wasn't prepared for the ball to be snapped at that time. In fact, I don't think he even called the signal or moved his hand or heel.
It didn't look like he called for that ball.
Again, playing with Logan Bandy at center, not Peter Godber.
Former BC Lion, Godber. Korsak. About midway through the opening quarter here. Waits for it. A little bit of a high snap. Hauls it in, no problem. Kicks it away. Williams wrapped up just outside the 20 after a 43-yard kick. It was Deontay Williams taking down Terry Williams. BC gets the ball back. Back a couple of weeks ago, we get to the debut of Sean Shivers, and what a debut it was, Glenn.
Yeah, they call him SS, and man, he was quick. We saw the different speed, different level that the rest of both teams were playing at. Now that fumble, I'm sure by now he's apologized to Mom, because right after that game, Shivers in a fantastic interview said, my mom's gonna be mad at me for that one. I'm sure they've fixed that.
Played 4 years in the SEC, and BC was waiting to get an opportunity to pick him up. Now here's Vernon Adams, and he avoids being sacked by taking that ball right up the middle. Let's take a look at this Riders D.
Micah Johnson's the leader. He just got a sack in that previous series. He now has 2 on the season. CJ Rivas will start at linebacker, but I've already seen a couple of rotation moments for Derek Moncrief. He's come in for Rivas at times, and then you go back in the secondary and they juggle things around a bit. Deontay Williams plays at halfback in this one tonight. Jeremy Clark bumps out to corner.
2-yard pickup for Adams. 2nd and 8 now. Pressure again, and they're going to get there again. Taking him down. This time it's Robertson. 3rd sack of the season for 45.
Just in that straight track stance, and that looked like it hurt VA. He's slow to get up, but here he is here, that straight sprinter stance. Pete Robertson with a great bull rush to swim around that right tackle in Kent Perkins. Did VA grab his left knee there? Good pressure early on from Saskatchewan. Oh boy.
That's not a good look. Flintoff's kick taken by Alford, and he steps out of bounds right at the 50. Well, the Riders only 7 sacks on the season coming into this one. Robertson with their 2nd of the day. Ooh, let's see Adams getting rolled up on. Well, Mason Fine getting the start. Here's a look at what he did in university.
Two-time Oklahoma High School Player of the Year, and when he was in high school, he was 5'9", so there were a lot of teams and people who just thought he was too small to be as good as he was. That has sort of followed him throughout his career, and one of the reasons he's so motivated to prove everybody wrong.
Patterson in the game here, and he'll toss it into the hands of Bain, who gets a pretty good pickup of at least 6 on first down.
Creating a little bit. There's Kelly Jeffrey, the offensive coordinator, giving Shea Patterson a play package. A lot of sort of veer type stuff.
We saw Patterson after short yardage stick around for a play here or there, even with Trevor Harris as the quarterback. So 2nd and 4 now. Hands it off, and Tehama is all over Jamal Morrow. That right there, that's a tackle for a loss.
Yeah, Sione Tehama. He just plays his responsibility here. So everybody on the defensive line has a responsibility. And for Tehama, it's taking the back out of the backfield here. And watch how well he does that. I mean, his job is to make sure he takes back. Whether he has the ball or not, he's going to go at him. And if Shea Patterson pulls it there, then he stays with his man. Just happened to have the ball in his hands.
Loss of 6 yards on the play. So back to the original line of scrimmage. And Corsack will kick it away. Defense is coming to play here in the early going of this one. Short kick from Corsack. And that one will bounce out of bounds just inside the 10. Riders defense bringing it on one side of the ball. Tehama and the rest of the BC Lions with an answer of their own. A beautiful weekend in Vancouver and a great atmosphere outside the stadium prior to the game. Let's send it down to Britt Dort for that.
Yeah, great initiative by both these teams, really up the tailgating game today. Commissioner Randy Ambrosie, as well as the 2 team presidents on hand to be the judges for some great competitions, including some watermelon eating, some pass the greasy watermelon into the watermelon smash, bobbing for BC Peaches, and the Lions even had receiver Lucky Whitehead help out with bringing those watermelons into the stadium today. He even got in on a little bit of the smashing himself, maybe a sign of how he feels about his opponent today. But, you know, you could just tell from these people, these fans, how excited they were. Dustin, when we walked up today, I think we were a little jealous we couldn't get in on the action with them.
It looked awesome. Maybe it's been great out here, but yeah, I like both teams working together on something like this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said, thousands out there, tons of kids enjoying what is a beautiful evening.
Dane Evans into the game for the Lions. The flag here as he takes the snap, has a completion, and that would be a first down. Like I mentioned, the flag here right as he took that ball. Vernon Adams remains in the tent being looked at. And I think this one might be against the BC Lions.
There was a pile in the middle of the old
offside.
line.
BC number 19. Half the distance to goal. Repeat, first down.
But yeah, Dane Evans gets the start. And this is, or not the start, comes in and gets this series because, as you mentioned, VA still in the tent getting medical attention. And this is why you sign a veteran quarterback who's been to a championship and has that experience in this exact scenario.
As far as backup quarterbacks go in this league, nobody with more experience than this guy. Here's Evans. In trouble, taken down. Sack in the end zone. Flag at the end of the play. DeMarcus Christmas gets home.
I think this BC or the Saskatchewan defensive line saying, what Dane Evans saying, this penalty is going to go against the Riders, but the Saskatchewan D line is tired of hearing that they're last in the league in sacks.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Saskatchewan, number 94. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
First down of the game for BC comes via penalty.
Get up high, tackle Dane Evans high. It was a real good move at the line of scrimmage. Just pile drived him into the ground, around the neck.
Head,
yeah, high tackle. Craig Dickinson wants another look at this. Well, right now he's looking at points off the board, Coach Dickinson.
Yeah. So a challenge from Dickinson, just his second of the season. Rick Campbell hasn't used the challenge flag at all this season.
He's challenging, but also explaining what his interpretation of it is.
Saskatchewan is challenging the previous play. They believe there is not roughing the passer. We'll review the play.
Head referee Dave Foxcroft doesn't decide one way or another after the challenge flag hits the ground. Now it's up to the command center. We'll take a couple more looks at it. Did he get up around the head? There's also part of the consideration from the command center is going to be, did Dane Evans duck as he was about to get hit, or duck his head a little bit, and then therefore a defender not having any chance to not make contact? But there looks like that was right across the side of the head, doesn't it?
The initial especially down that look right there, looked like that left arm came up and hit him in the head.
That's not a bird arm either. That's a real arm.
What do you think of the decision to challenge this?
Well, it takes points off the board because of the call, so I think it's a good idea. Take a look at it.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. There is roughing the passer. It's a first down for BC. Saskatchewan is charged to timeout and has no more challenges for the rest of the game.
Points off the board, and you get the ball back after safety. So, but you also need help as the head coach from the spotters, your staff up in the booth, to say, well, it did come across his head. I think they were wondering if he ducked into it.
Evans hands it off to Shivers right up the middle, and he'll pick up about 5 yards on that first down, attacking into that Riders D-line.
So 63 games of experience for the backup in BC in Dane Evans. Back in 22 in Hamilton, he completed just shy of 70% of his passes and just shy of 4,000 yards. So very capable as they keep evaluating Vernon Adams.
Does not look good.
Doesn't look good.
2nd and 5. Evans will be throwing here. Now he's going to take off, lunging ahead, and that should be enough for a first down, as Dane Evans didn't like what he saw, so he brought it in and took off.
With Rick Campbell still trying to get some updates on what Vernon Adams' situation really is.
Evans over 8,800 passing yards in his career, 45 touchdowns. Certainly has experience running an offense. Backpedals near side, pulled in by Hatcher, but they're going to say he was out of bounds. Excellent effort by Hatcher to catch that ball.
Tight coverage as Hatcher gets to the sideline, and pretty good arm strength here from Dane Evans to kind of lean away from that. You see how tight the coverage was, but no, the right foot touches out of bounds first. Correct call made by the official on the spot.
Hatcher caught 6 of 7 balls thrown his way a couple weeks ago for 68 yards. Huge part of this BC offense. Evans now 2nd and 10. Right over the middle. Back to Hatcher. He's got it, and he's on his feet. Hatcher to 40. The race is on. Down to the 30. And they eventually track him down and take him down. C.J. Rivas is there to stop him, but a big one. Evans to Hatcher for 53.
Yeah, Dane Evans looks like he's done this a time or two, doesn't it? He steps back in this shotgun snap, takes it, and he's going to hit Hatcher on the crossing route. Here comes Hatcher straight across on that crosser, that dig route over the middle, and makes one man miss.
Moncrief was behind him. Williams tried to take him down, and when he missed, Hatcher goes for 50+. 1st and 10 from the Rider 27. A lot of pressure. Evans gets it away towards the end zone. Touchdown! Drops it in there for Alexander Hollins, and BC strikes first. Touchdown drive led by Dane Evans.
He's seen it before. He has the experience, and Dane Evans sees the blitz. Moncrief, Dean, a free edge rusher, free to the quarterback. All he has to do is lift that football and let Hollins go run underneath it, and he gets that job done.
7-play, 101-yard drive manufactured by Dane Evans into the game for an injured Vernon Adams. Second touchdown of the year for Hollins. Sean White for the extra point and a 7-0 lead. And he knocks it through with about 40 seconds remaining here in the opening quarter.
Just a crossing route and an adjustment to the blitz. There's an edge rusher that's free and not blocked, and this is Hollins recognizing it. So Hollins recognizes this, and now he just got to get there before, I believe it's Pete Robertson, the free man off the edge. So Dane Evans knows he can't block that guy. He just got to lift it now on this crossing route. Great speed in a one-on-one matchup, and Dalkey can't get there. Hollins runs away. Dane Evans lifts this ball so that his receiver can go get it.
That's the key, right?
Absolutely. Put air underneath it. I think Dane Evans a little excited to... Woo! How about that?
That's impressive.
Okay, we're coming up on our quarter break.
No chance.
I want to see.
No chance. You don't know how injured I would get attempting to do that. I can't do it. What a drive for Evans. You come in here, you sign, restructure that contract to be a backup to Vernon Adams, knowing that you have to be ready if you get the opportunity. And he sure looks like he is. Alford, always capable of a response. Takes this one to the 30, but BC there to double team him and take him down before he can do any significant damage. Mason Fine, 5 for 5 in this game for 27 yards. They had Patterson out on the last possession. And now they get Fine back on there. What do you think of that when Fine had actually started the game pretty well?
Yeah, no, you know what? I think in this situation, I mean, there's times when you have a veteran like I don't know, a Ricky Ray or something, or a VA who then you take him out of the game when he's in a rhythm. I don't know. Yeah. Don't always agree with that move, but a young guy like that, not a bad idea.
Fine, trailing by 7. Low snap, picks it up, goes to his running back. Oh, hit there as Morrill got spun around. Jalen Edwards-Cooper was there to take him out.
It's one of the strong points about this BC Lions secondary is they're great tacklers. I mean, they just, in the open field, these guys get there in a hurry, and so much so that I've thought watching BC play that the double move would be excellent against them because they close so quickly.
They're so aggressive.
Yeah.
3 yards to Morrill. There's an injured Lion down on the field. Canada's run in the FIFA Women's World Cup continues Wednesday as they face Ireland. History awaits as stars Sinclair, Buchanan, and Fleming take to the pitch looking for victory. Tune in at 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific. TSN and CTV, your home for exclusive coverage all tournament long. Tehema is up and walking off. Looks like he's going to be okay. Second and 7 for Fine. Working from his own 35. Four-man rush from the Lions. Fine gets it away, looking for Emelis, and he hauls it in. Excellent catch by Emelis with Gary Peters all over him.
Yeah, Sam Emelis on the slant route, and he really has to fight off Peters to make this catch.
19 yards for number 19 on the Riders as Emelis gets the job done. Saskatchewan trailing 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. Lions with the 7-0 lead over the Riders with 15 minutes in the books. And, boy, Saskatchewan's defense causing some issues. Adams is out of the game. And do they make adjustments here, do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Jason Shivers, the defensive coordinator for Saskatchewan, sticks with some of his pressure packages, because it was working big time early in the game. Lots of pressure on Vernon Adams early in that first quarter. And then Dane Evans here on the last drive beats that blitz with the touchdown throw. Will that change Jason Shivers' mind or not? We'll see in the second quarter.
Evans stepping in. 2 for 3, 80 yards, and a touchdown. A big one there, 53 to Hatcher. That's set up on the next play, the touchdown to Hollins. And Hollins is having an excellent year. Well over 300 yards on the season. 1st and 10 here after a big completion to Emelis for Mason Fine. Down by a touchdown. He'll hand it off. And Morrow about 2 yards on 1st down, trying to move to the left side of his line, but the Lions are there.
So you run that play for a couple of reasons. One, good to get the run on 1st down, get a manageable 2nd down situation. 2, it's setting up the chance for Mason Fine to pull the ball if he wants and get on the bootleg or roll out and get on the run. He can throw very well on the run. He's been accurate tonight so far, although a lot of intermediate and short throws, which makes sense.
His running back now out to the wide side of the field. Fine, a completion. Spin move after the catch from Watson, but will be short of a 1st down by a couple of yards.
Is it a couple?
Looks like
I think they are going to measure a couple. Craig Dickinson's in that area on the field where you're a little too far for a field goal.
No man's land here.
There are times when coaches will actually go for it on 3rd and 2 or 3 here.
They're setting up for a field goal. Lothar is 0 for 3 from beyond 50 so far this season.
Wait.
Uh-oh. Some trickery. Kick it up. 3 guys were behind the kicker, taken there by Sales. And now Sales will eventually be taken down. Balls out and the Riders are on it. It doesn't matter how they got it. They did. Wow. I'm not sure this is how they designed it, but the Riders keep the football. Sales has it knocked out. Saskatchewan hops all over it.
Well, heads-up play by CFL All-Star from a year ago, Marcus Sales, to be there to take the pooch kick. But look at how loose he was holding the football. This is a DB who doesn't get to take the football very often. He had 6 last year, 6 picks, so he does know how and the fundamentals of it. Ball stripped by Evan Johnson.
Mason Fine now gets an 8 for 8 in the ball game for 54 yards. Riders take over on the BC 32. Fine with time has Jones. Jones game tackle at the 25. And forward progress will push him up close to a 1st down.
Tevin Jones does an excellent job here of working back to the football. He's a big target. He doesn't look like it when you just kind of watch him from the stands or the booth, but I tell you what, he is a big guy at 6'2", 225, and he works back to this pass so that he gets separation on Edwards Cooper.
Jones leading the team in receiving yards coming into this game. 1st and 10 from the BC 21. Fine on the run to his right. And now has to just throw it away with nothing opening up down the field.
Now, I'm just going to say it, but at halftime, I'm sure that Mason Fine and Logan Bandy are going to start to get communicating on snaps. I mean, this was a couple of plays ago, and once again, Mason Fine has to react to the snap. He's already fumbled one that he wasn't prepared for. Didn't think the ball was coming to him at that moment. So that was a play ago. We're going to keep our eye on that.
Looks like he goes down to wipe his hands on the towel, and and it might be confusing to center. Same thing happened on that other one.
I'm going to get that straightened out.
Watch that. Here's fine now. 2nd and 10. Dumps it off to Bain. Trying to set up a screen. Not there, though. And that will bring up 3rd down. And some pushing and shoving after the whistle.
Saskatchewan Roughriders have been night and day better at maintaining discipline in these scenarios this year as they were last year. Their penalty totals are way down because of it.
There's a very late flag that just came out. Dickinson's halfway on the field saying field goal.
Yes, field goal, and get off the field. He is on top of this part of the game. This year it was a priority, and they have been much better at it. When you really focus on something as a team and as a coaching staff, you'll see the results if you make it a priority, and they certainly have. He was out there getting his guys off the field.
The officials still discussing things. A lot to sort out there.
Flags were real late, so they're probably getting some help from the command center to sort out who did what, who hit who.
It's 2 penalties on the play. Both occurred after the play. Objectionable conduct, misconduct, 10-yard penalty, 47 Saskatchewan, or 61 Saskatchewan, 47 BC. It will be 3rd down.
Offsetting, Council and Sione Tehema. But he didn't, Craig Dickinson did not hesitate to get out there and make sure he reminded his team, we don't do that anymore. We're not that team anymore. Their number of penalties after the whistle last year were off the charts.
Yeah, at times last year talking with Craig, it seemed like he just
he
didn't know what to do at that point.
He was trying, but it just wasn't happening. This year, completely different story. And good job by the officials there to go offsetting and probably reminded both players just maintain that discipline. Which is, by the way, showing that you're tougher. For young kids watching this game, it's actually an example of toughness to be disciplined and don't get involved in those things after the whistle.
Lother, 26-yarder, and he puts it home. 71.9% on the season coming into this game. Knocks that one through and gets the Riders on the board. We were discussing the discipline improvement this year from the Riders, and here's a look at it. That's huge.
Well, just the yardage alone, but then you become from the worst team in the league to one of the best teams in the league at it. And again, we've talked to him many times leading into games about this. Did last year and also this year, and it was a real priority all offseason, not just in the messaging, but also in the type of player he was signing.
Dane Evans, if you're just joining us, into the game for an injured Vernon Adams, tosses it to Lucky Whitehead. He's got a 1st down and lunges up to midfield. 15-yard pickup for Lucky Whitehead.
There's a guy they really haven't. He's been on and off. He's been injured one game and then back the next, and then injured the next game and then back the next. I mean, that's been his last 4. So tough to get any sort of real continuity with Lucky Whitehead. They're just tapping into that.
Look good there. Now they'll give it to Shivers, and Shivers will be wrapped up and taken down. Multiple flags on this play. It was Brian Cox who got there to contain him.
Holding BC number 59. That penalty's declined. 2nd down.
Instead of taking the holding and first over again, because there was a loss created by the defense, the Riders elect to decline the penalty, and there's your holding on Cox, and A.J. Allen got there and helped out.
And they have the ball back at the original line of scrimmage here, but
well, that was a loss. So
that was a loss. So this ball should be moved.
Yeah, they're making the adjustment now.
Yeah.
That's why you decline the penalty.
Yeah, so now it's 2nd and 14, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You don't decline it if it just means 2nd and 10.
Evans needing 14 for a first down here. Hatcher, the toy swinging behind their quarterback. Evans gets it away just in time down the field, and that is broken up. Deontay Williams hammers Rhymes. He can't haul it in. A flag on the far side of the field, and Brian Cox is down back by where the quarterback was. So lots to sort out here.
Well, we'll see what happened to Brian Cox, but what a great play by Deontay Williams, the timing on the hit.
Offside. BC number 19. The penalties declined. 3rd down.
That's the 2nd time tonight that Dominic Rhymes has been offside. Looks like because he wasn't starting from the waggle or motion, so he must have lined up offside. But what a hit to separate the football from one of the top receivers in the game. Let's see what happened to Brian Cox.
Yeah, they're helping him up right now. And no weight on his left leg as he'll be carried off the field by his teammates.
Well, I'll show you what happened to Brian Cox Jr. He's on the rush here, and as he's going around the corner, he's going to get rolled into. You can see it coming from the other side, and his left knee locks out. Hopefully it's not too bad.
Flintoft with a lead, kicks this away, towering kick way up there. Alford waiting, takes it at the 10, 49-yarder, and Mario Alford is wrapped up on a short return, and not easy to do. Contain Super Mario. They didn't do it last week a couple of times.
Not one. This one he created. This was the first one against Calgary, but he wasn't done after this one. I mean, Mario Alford said to our Brett Dort on the sideline at halftime, said, I'm going to score again. And he did. He called his shot and scored a second one. Breaks the Rider record for return touchdowns. And worth the price of admission.
He did it in 18 games. He set the franchise record for returns with 6. Just the 8th player ever to do it. Gizmo did it 3 times. 2 punt returns in the same game. Here's Fine. Fine now, flushed out to his right, on the run, throws, and has a completion to Jones. Just shy of a first down.
He did it so quick, as you mentioned, and looking at the returns, and great football IQ, not just about speed, but 33 games, 9 touchdowns, 3.7 games per touchdown. You know, and I saw this. I saw the bottom guy's name played a few times, Henry Williams. I saw his name played a couple of times running by me trying to.
Are you thinking, I'm going to catch him still?
No. I knew right away I wasn't going to catch him.
Now they'll hand it off, and that'll go for a first down. Some hard yards and a flag right at the end. And is that going to be against Council, who kind of came in there and blew things up?
Yeah, that's a player safety issue, and it looks like that's probably what the call will be. Unless there was a face mask that we couldn't see live.
The last thing you want with the young quarterback in there, getting this offense moving a little bit, is to have it set back by an undisciplined penalty.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan, number 61. That'll go half the distance to goal. Repeat, 2nd down.
There'll be a strong reminder at halftime from Coach Dickinson on this kind of stuff. I mean, the push is okay from Bandy, just trying to help his running back, but that's cruising. The O-line start cruising. It's dangerous player safety issue, and it costs you 15 yards.
26-year-old Council out of Auburn. having those left tackle duties for the Riders offensive line.
So 2nd and 2 to 2nd and 12.
At a first down.
Yep.
Fine on his own 11. Crowded BC place, getting behind their defense that's been so good so far this season. Fine over the middle. Ooh, a heavy hit on Picton. He hung on to it. It was Quincy Mauger who delivered the blow, but they'll still be a couple of yards short.
You know, all the people that talk about the fact that the rules have changed so much that it stops looking like football. I'll give you this play as an example of how it's not. I mean, you just, whew. That was to the midsection, led by with the left shoulder. Yes, there will be some incidental contact with the helmets, but certainly wasn't targeted, and good for Picton to get up. Still the most physical game on the planet. That's why you can't play the next night. You want to make any comparisons. You can't play a football game the next night. Rugby's up there. I'll put rugby up there.
I still don't know what's going on in rugby. Here's Corsack. Williams waiting just outside his own 40. And that's where he will take it. 43-yard kick. Williams stripped up at midfield by Hickson. Vernon Adams out of this football game, remains on the sideline. We'll get an update from Britt Dort when we return to Vancouver. Well, if you were just joining us or if you missed the first quarter of play, you missed this. Robertson taking down Vernon Adams Jr., his left leg getting rolled up on a little bit. He was taken to the sideline, taken into the tent. And for more, let's go down to Britt Dort for an update.
Yeah, we just got word that Vernon Adams will not be returning tonight. That knee is bothering him. You saw him try to test it out on the bike initially. It didn't last very long. Eventually exiting the field. Apparently, he did give high fives to all of his offense and the offensive linemen there and saying, "I'll be okay, guys." It also happened to be Will Hollins was getting the touchdown, so he was visibly excited to see Dane Evans trying to pick up where he left off.
Well, and he did. 101-yard drive for Dane Evans that ended in a touchdown to Hollins, and Evans has the ball now, and he's got a man wide open. That is Rhymes. His first catch of the ball game with 7:47 remaining in the second.
Yeah, good experienced quarterback room. When you look at Vernon Adams, Dane Evans, and Dominic Davis as the third guy, their short yardage guy, they're a tight group. They help each other, and of course, when the number one guy goes down, they turn to a veteran in Dane Evans. And one of the good off-season signings for any team was when the Lions picked up Dane Evans.
2 for 6 on second down so far this evening. Quick look over to his right. And now he's going to be in trouble. Ball pops out, but the Riders do hop on it. DeMarcus Christmas. And will they take over again, or was Evans down when he was sacked? They do say Riders ball.
Riders ball. Looked like Dane Evans wanted a deep ball. He was looking and holding on for, looked like a deep post, so he goes to step up, and then he realizes that that post is covered. Watch Evans here as he's going to drop back in this shotgun snap. Now he wants to step into a deep throw here. See how he's leaning into that deep throw, and then he doesn't like it. He bails on it, and Larry Dean gets home.
That ball bounced right to Christmas. He took it. Dean caused it. And the Riders defense has come to play today against the BC Lions. Now can their offense join them? Here's Fine. Gets it away just in time. Smart. And throws that one out of bounds. His two incompletions so far in this game have both been plays where he just had to throw it out of bounds. So outside of that, when he's thrown to a receiver, they've caught it tonight.
Yeah, those are decisions. Those are, and again, in that case, a good decision. 2nd and 10, better than 2nd and 14, you know, in a big way. My Captain Obvious moment.
4 receivers to the wide side left for Fine. Pressure from the Lions. Fine out to his right, and that one incomplete. Looking for Watson. Yeah, Combo laid out there, didn't he?
Yeah, he was baiting him. He wanted Fine to throw this because the Combo was relying on his own speed. He felt Watson on the crossing route, and he was kind of letting him get the advantage, making Fine think that he had an open, and then he cuts underneath that. And if that ball is even a little bit higher, Combo's going the other direction. Threw it low and away, and he just got the knockdown.
First knockdown of the season for Combo. Horsack from almost midfield. Short kick, bounces it down inside the 20 and away from Terry Williams. 37-yard kick. And Dane Evans will take over at his own 14. So the turnover leads to a little bit of field position advantage here for the Riders.
Yeah, absolutely flops the field. A block kick or a turnover, interception, those kind of plays. You can have the field position advantage, and then that play flops it. Now your defense can get a 2 and out. You got a chance for points.
Now, with that being said, it was a 101-yard drive that Evans put together that led to a touchdown. So an offense that certainly can move the ball, even with 17 in there at quarterback. They start this one on their own 14, 6.5 to play in the first half. They'll give it to Shivers. And Shivers, with a flag in the secondary, turned it back upfield for a short gain.
Derek Moncrief was being held on that play, and I always can tell the player that was being held.
BC, number 4. After this is the goal, repeat first down.
Because that player that was being held on defense immediately signals the holding call and points.
Keon Hatcher leads his team in receiving today. He picked up that hold. 53 yards for Hatcher on one big catch that ended up setting up the Hollins touchdown. Lions now backed up here to their own 7. Evans in trouble again, will not get away. He's taken down inside the 5. Riders defense continues to bring it. Miles Brown this time.
Lake Corte Moore was also on a rotation in there. Miles Brown gets home, but Corte Moore's got a whole bunch of friends and family here, and there he is there. That's Corte Moore. Miles Brown is right there. He ends up getting there, but Corte Moore pushes and flushes Dane Evans up into the middle.
Well, with Cox injured, we'll see more of 49 today. Former UBC Thunderbird. 2nd and 20 in his own end zone for Evans. Looked underneath for Shivers. Could not hang on.
Well, I'll tell you what, that would have been fun to watch. That was 2 great athletes, and Shivers, as quick as he is, and Moncrief, I believe it was Derek Moncrief, one of the great athletes playing the linebacker position that can do it all. He can cover, he can play the run, all of it. But it looked like it was going to turn into a one-on-one if he hangs on to that one. Just kind of shot right over his shoulder. Just to the right of your screen was 42.
BC's offense so far, 5 punts, a fumble, and a touchdown. And they will kick this from deep in their own end zone, backing Alford up. He takes it at his own 50. Maru Alford down the near sideline, pushed out of bounds after a 56-yard kick. 4 generations face off as Lily Singh hosts Battle of the Generations Monday at 9, 8 Mountain. It's at your PVR only on CTV. Look at that shot.
Yeah, City's okay. You know,
North Van.
It's not bad. Not a bad place to hang out.
Especially on a nice day. I have a few of them down here, I would guess. Excellent field position again from the 51 for Fine. Hands it off. Jamal Morrow taken down, finished off by Rugamba after a 5-yard pickup.
Lion fans may be wondering about the decision to punt it that deep in your own end zone. especially with Mario Alford as the Rider returner. He gets about 10 on that return. But I think Rick Campbell just relies on his defense.
Yeah.
He's got a great defense, one of the top defenses in the league, and he thinks he can get the stop.
His defense allowing just 17 points per game coming into this, and just 3 points so far in this one. Now Fine had to get it away quickly. He does. That'll be close to a first down, depending on the spot. 5th catch of the game for Sean Bain.
Boy, that was Mason Fine just making it up. I mean, that was pressure right in his face. Start number 3 in his career, and to have the composure and just calm to throw that into traffic to Bain right at the mark, right at the sticks. Great composure for a young number 8.
All right, well, Dolegala now comes into the game in the short yardage situation, 3rd and inches, pushing ahead, and all 6'7" of him crossing the line for a first down.
You know, when he grew up and was training to become the star quarterback he was at North Texas, Mason Fine's dad, Dale, was one of his mentors, one of the guys that really worked on the game, taking notes at every practice and all of that. And I love the saying that Dale told him as a young kid when he said, it's not about being perfect at practice. It's not, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Sounds so confusing. Just say, practice a lot. Just practice a lot.
Perfect practice makes perfect.
We've hit 3 minutes in Vancouver. Don't go anywhere. First half finishes up next.
Coming up at the half, another quarterback going down to injury. We'll discuss how Dane Evans is faring so far, and it's Watermelon Smash Night in BC tonight. You know what that means?
Milk?
Whoop. No.
Fun with watermelon coming up at the half. 1st and 10 for Fine. Down the field, one-on-one. No, little too much. Looking for Tevin Jones, working against Peters. And Fine
Clearly took a hit.
Picked up off the field. Helmet knocked right off.
Well, there's an example of the arm strength, and he certainly has it. Watch the hit that he's going to take to deliver this deep ball. A little more air and just different trajectory, and he might have had something there, but that was how close? About a yard too far.
So 2nd and 10. They'll hand it off to Morrow. Morrow with a flag as he turns it upfield at the 35.
If it's a holding, that takes it back out of field goal range.
That is what it is.
Holding Saskatchewan, number 64. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Evan Johnson, who caused a fumble earlier in the game, called on a hold here.
Well, that just, you know, again, I think Craig Dickinson will go in at halftime and just remind the entire team, we're really good at this now. So let's not slip back into, especially with a young quarterback and getting penalties like that.
If you're fine here, just trying to get back into field goal range.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
2nd and 20 from the Lions 50. 3-man rush. Fine with time. Has a completion back up to about the line of scrimmage, but no gain into the hands of Watson.
And that's exactly what the screenplay was. He was trying to get Jamal Morrow out of the backfield on a basic little screen pass, but he's well covered by backup linebacker Josh Woods. He's coming out of the backfield here, and look at Josh Woods get on his horse. Now he's out there to cover him, so Fine says, no, nope, I don't like that one, and come back. Again, good composure for a young guy.
So with the ball on the Lions 50, Korczak out to kick this away. Williams slides under it at the 10. 40-yard kick. Williams brings it back to the 20 with 2:25 on the clock for Dane Evans.
No yards. Saskatchewan for 24. 15-yard penalty. First down, BC.
Now, low-scoring affair. Vine's completed 14 of 18 passes. We were talking about it in the break. There's defenses here. Like, the Riders have a lot of pressure so far in this game, and the Lions defense has been making some plays.
Defenses are allowed to win. I keep trying to convince.
I know. Look, I wish it was 28-28 right now.
I know you do, but listen, every fan base, like right now, half the fans watching this game want a 2-and-out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. From the BC 26 for Evans. That one up in the air, incomplete. Kind of dumped it over the top down to Shivers. Not sure he saw it, and once again there's some heat in his face.
Yeah, that's been maybe the biggest improvement for Saskatchewan in this game. You know, their pressure up front, whether it be with 4 or sending some pressure and pressure packages with Larry Dean and Micah Tights. Been way better tonight than the first 5 games or 6 games of the season. This being the 6th.
2nd and 10 now for Evans. Trying to stay on his feet, on the run, out to his left, turns down the field, out of bounds. Dropped it in there for Rhymes, but I don't think he really had a shot at keeping that one in.
But this is a play that Dane Evans had to try and create. I mean, he gets pressure again. Let's take a look. You got Larry Dean right at the line of scrimmage one more time. This time he's showing and dropping out, so it's 4-man pressure, but they're getting there. That was Micah Johnson right down the middle again. Dane Evans trying to just make it up on the fly.
This is a Lions group that only allowed 10 sacks in the season, 3rd best in the league coming in, and the Riders have been in the backfield all day. Led to an injury of the starting quarterback, and Evans has been under pressure as well. Flintoft, low kick. Alford hustling over there. And Mario Alford will take it at the 20 and step out. 64-yard kick, backing up the Riders with $1:58 to go in the 2nd quarter.
Well, that's lots of time, as we've seen many times this year. Especially last week, in just a couple of minutes you can really move the ball, and Mason Fine took that deep shot. That's important, even though it wasn't complete to Tevin Jones. That deep shot's important because defensive backs think, oh, okay, he can get it down there. So I got to play straight up and true and not start jumping routes.
6 different Riders with multiple targets today from Mason Fine, making his 3rd career start, 1st of the year. This time he moves it quickly, has Picton up at the 30 for a 6-yard gain.
And it looks like late in this 2nd quarter that Logan Bandy and Mason Fine has worked out that shotgun issue, because there were 3 or 4 snaps that one went sideways, but there were 2 others that were really close.
Need 4 yards here. Fine. Watson complete, and he's got more than 4. Takes it all the way up outside the Rider 50. 16-yard chunk with just over a minute and a half left.
Yeah, so you're running the offense. That's the great part. You don't have to force it or push it. You're running the offense. Little play action fake there, and now 2 first downs away from a field goal opportunity.
Fine completing 80% of his passes so far in this ball game. This time with pressure in his face, has a completion again for a 1st down. Great pass as he gets it back into the hands of Watson.
That looks like a guy who threw for over 12,000 yards in college to me. That's, you know, you throw for over 12,000, you know how to throw the football in different launch angles, different positions. He's got a guy in his face again. Just a guy that's leading the league in sacks, right in his face, floating away, and threads the needle in traffic.
Tight window.
Yeah.
From the BC 51, this time they'll hand it off. Morrow, though, almost looked like he slipped, and then TJ Lee was there to touch him down.
Comfortable for Lowther, I would think, is another 8 to 10.
I mentioned it earlier. He's 0 for 3 beyond 50 this year. Long 46 for Lowther.
Two great coordinators in this game, Ryan Phillips and Jason Shivers.
4 options to the near side of the field for Fine. That's where he looks first. That's where he's going to throw. It's Bain. Bain. Ooh, great tackle.
Yep.
Great tackle from Hladek.
Yeah, Hladek steps up. Again, I asked Coach about Ben Hladek's play, and he just talked about his work ethic and how he's one of those guys, you know, first guy there, last guy to leave. Quiet leader, doesn't do a lot of talking, but when he does, people listen, and that's just a great tackle because Bain is a yard or 2 away from getting the first. And now not quite in field goal range with that tackle from Hladek. That's big.
22 tackles for Hladek on the season coming into this game. So once again, Saskatchewan will kick this away. Korsak right at midfield with his team trailing 7-3 in a low-scoring opening half. Williams takes it just inside the 10, spins his way up to the 20 after a 43-yard kick from Korsak. And this has been the developing story of the game. The Riders, with the pressure they've had so far here this evening.
Yeah, they started out with a sack in the very first series. They sent some pressure packages. That's Robertson off the edge and Larry Dean on a blitz. Larry Dean on another blitz. But whether it been Dane Evans or early on Vernon Adams, this has been the best game of the season, or best half of the season so far for the Saskatchewan front seven. And as you mentioned, this O-line for the BC Lions has been playing well. Jason Shivers got some nice packages written up because just 10 sacks coming in. That's third best in the league for this BC O-line. And they've been intact for the entire season. All 5 of them have not missed a game.
Evans coming in midway through the opening quarter to replace an injured Vernon Adams. Hands it off to Shivers, trying to string it out. But that defense went with him the whole way. Back to the line of scrimmage and no further for Shivers, who's been held to just 7 yards in this game. That was only his 4th carry of the ball game.
Micah Tights and Lake Corte Moore getting involved in that tackle. Like trying to tackle a rabbit. He's fast, he's so quick.
I was online last night. I watched a rabbit beat up a snake, if you can believe it. I was stunned. I had no idea they had it in them. 7-3, the BC Lions lead. Neither team really able to get anything going on the ground. Jamal Morrow just 4 yards. Shivers just 7 yards as these defenses have been clogging up the middle of the field so far. Mason Fine, 18 of 22 for 133 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. And Dane Evans on the other side, 4 of 9, 97 yards and a touchdown to Alex Hollins, his 2nd of the season. The big play in this game so far, a 53-yarder to Keon Hatcher, and Dane Evans with our Britt Dorn.
All right, Dane, walk me through what's going through your mind when you see Vernon go down and knowing that you're probably going to have to step up here.
Well, the first thing is it sucks because, I mean, I'm not a selfish guy, and to see the work that VA puts in, I mean, he's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. And for something like that to happen, it's unfortunate. Don't know the severity of it, so I'm definitely hopeful for it. But it just sucks. And sadly, I've been in this situation before in 19 when Jeremiah went down. So kind of know what to expect and stuff, but it's still not a fun thing. You don't ever want to go through it. The quarterback is so important to your team, man, and VA is our quarterback. And it just sucks because the whole morale goes down, and it's my job, obviously, to play good, but to pick the morale back up. So if we can get some good field position in the second half and stop having penalties, I think we'll be all right.
Well, you mentioned the morale and trying to keep it up. You did just that. You led a successful touchdown drive. So what did that do for his team?
No, I think it was a shot in the arm for sure. That's obviously you want to score, right? But under the circumstances, it's a bigger touchdown. But once that fades and we kick the extra point, it's still a 7-3 game. And it's not like we're playing a team that's just going to give it to us. So they're in a battle as well. I think we got a good football game. Like I said, we just got to clean it up, stop killing ourselves with penalties, and we'll be straight.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Back to Kate and the panel.
And that panel would be David Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stegall, and Dane Evans taking over for Vernon Adams Jr. You hate to see it. We've seen it so many times already early in this CFL season. I guess you could say it is a luxury, though, Matt, for the BC Lions that they have a veteran backup in Dane Evans, something that not a lot of the other teams have had so far. And he's been really solid so far with that 97 yards and 1 TD.
Yeah, that's the biggest drive of the game so far, and it's impressive. And Milt, you were talking about it. It was a safety to a TD, right?
Yep.
If it went had for that high hit, they would have been 2 points in the hole.
Exactly.
But they took it the distance. But here's Vernon Adams, and this is tough to watch because we need quarterbacks in this league, and unfortunately, what's going on right now is we're losing these guys on a tremendous pace here, and you don't want to ever see that. And I can tell you that it's one of those scenarios where it's part of the game, but an ugly part of the game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And if you look at this here, guys, this is week 4. Tyree Adams went down, right? Week 2, obviously, Bo Levi, Jeremiah in week 5, Schultz week 6, and Harris, and now Vernon Adams. That's 66% of our quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks going down. And in this football game, hats off to the Saskatchewan Roughriders, because we're trying to talk about Mason Fine and how he's going to get things going. And we talked about special teams. How about talking about Saskatchewan defense? Saskatchewan defense has got 13 pressures. 13 pressures on the quarterbacks for the BC Lions. This is the BC Lions offense that only gave up 1 sack in the first 2 games of the season. Over the last 3.5 games, they've given up 13 sacks, Milt.
They're balling. They're balling. They were balling when VA was in the game, and they're balling now that Dane Evans in the game. But as you mentioned, it's great to have a backup like Dane Evans, who's been a starter in this league. A starter who's thrown for almost 9,000 yards, who led his team to 2 Grey Cups, 2019 and 2021. So it's also important to have a guy like him. It's a big reason why BC traded for him. Of course, you never want your starter to get hurt, but if he does, it's awesome to have a guy like Dane Evans to come in and be the backup. But he has to play better. Of course, it's not all on him. As you mentioned, Matt, this defensive front from Saskatchewan is destroying this BC Lion offensive line, so they have to get better. They have to get the running game going also.
And player safety, always such a hot topic in this league, and a hit that you didn't really like in the first half.
No, and look, we don't want hits to the head. We know what it does to guys' careers, but we also don't want guys' livelihoods taken away with low hits. Your receiver, how many times do you want a guy to hit you high or hit you low?
Hit me high.
I mean, right. And I think that's a consensus. And what we saw for Jalen Edwards-Cooper, and first of all, I want to say, this is a good tackle. A great play from Jalen Edwards-Cooper. Get him off the field, get him down. There's a 40-pound difference between these two. But he doesn't have a chance to gather himself right here. Jamal Morrow doesn't. It's dangerous. Yeah. He's looking the other way, doesn't have a chance to gather, and Edwards goes low and takes out his legs. Hits like this, his legs planted, he's going to blow on an ACL. It's lower body injuries. And yes, I get it. I played this position for 13 years. And I don't think I ever hit a guy above the waist. I hit you low, but my job is to get you down. If I can't get you down, I don't have a job. So as long as we allow hits like that to happen, and the only thing to do is find ways to make those hits. If a guy can't gather himself and make a move, you have to outlaw those or have some sort of way to take those out of the game.
Well, what's happening now, guys they would love to hit him high, but they're thinking about a penalty or getting fined or helmet to helmet. So that's changed the way these guys are playing. I understand. Hey, I don't want to get fined. I don't want to get a penalty. I'm going to hit him low.
Then you have to have the perfect hit, right? You can't go high, you can't go low. It's literally every single time. But you're right, that was a good hit. It just, the ramifications of it could be monumental.
We hate seeing it.
Couldn't agree more. Meanwhile, the BC Lions up 7-3. It's a defensive battle on the West Coast. It was the event of the summer according to the BC Lions today, the Watermelon Smash. All kinds of festivities happening outside of BC Place. Fans doing their best, passing the watermelons as fast as they could, then smashing them to the ground. We were seeing these shots live, and honestly, we were getting a little bit jealous. They were doing a great job of it as well. So we thought we'd have our own Watermelon Smash, and of course, make it a competition. Here's Milt and Matt.
You go first. All right, here we go.
We're judging back here, gentlemen.
Woo-wee. Yeah, baby. Give it to him. Oh! Woo! All right. All right.
All right,
it's going to be hard to stop that.
Let's go.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm a soccer dad, and I like Messi, so I'm going to add a little something to it.
All right, Davis, I think we have to judge these. That was really impressive. Do we have to pay for that, by the way? I'm concerned that we're going to have to pay for the cleanup. Matt, that was impressive. I'm going to give Matt Dunnigan a very solid 8 for his smash. 8. What'd you give him?
Arm strength, 10.
Wow.
Dunnigan, this arm strength is evident. He still got it.
You know what? We started with the footy promo for the women, so I'm going to give Milt Stegall, because he did his best, Lionel Messi as well. I'm giving a 10. You?
It's so hard to give Milt a 10, but all right, Stegall.
There you go. 1 by 2. Nice job. I have been told that we have to clean this up as a team. Everyone ready?
Nope. Clean up, clean up. Everybody clean up.
Halftime stats with Milt Stegall.
7-3, low-scoring game. And I know Glenn Suter said there are some people out there who enjoy this defensive battle. I call baby poo. Guys, we want some scoring. Tell them we want
some
scoring.
Offense. I would enjoy some big plays.
What happened last week? If this is happening now, we need some scoring.
That's Suter.
Remember the Ottawa game, the first half of the Ottawa game? Right? I feel like this is going to fire up after the break.
There we go.
Back to Dustin and Suits right after this.
Suits is hogging the ball.
Welcome back to beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, where the Lions lead the Riders 7-3. Riders defensive lineman Micah Johnson's with our Britt Dorn.
All right, Micah, a defensive battle here on the field. You guys had a pretty strong D-line going in that first half. 4 sacks, 1 for yourself. So what have you been noticing out there to continue to keep it rolling?
Just rushing together. That's really what we've been harping on all week. Just everybody winning your individual battles, but at the same time, we got to rush together to be able to get the quarterback down, and it's working out.
All right, well, you guys are struggling on the penalty front. So what was the message at the half in order to remain more disciplined out there?
We got to play penalty-free ball. Penalties will determine the outcome of the game, especially when it's a close-fought game like this. So we're just harping on everybody being penalty-free and locking in, being focused.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mike.
Thank you.
He's a part of what probably was the most impressive unit in the first half, that defensive front for the Riders.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think that was the best half of football this season. See if they can keep it up in the second half.
Alford and Hickson wait for the kick. BC is 4-0 when leading at the half. 2-0 at home. Riders 2-0 on the road to start the year, so something's got to give in the next 30. Alford takes this at the 11. Brings it back up, tries to find a little bit of room, and BC locks him up just outside the 30. There's a flag way down at the BC Lions 40.
Well, they might make him kick it again if it's against the Lions, but Mason Fine in the first half, I thought played very well. Had some issues with Logan Bandy early on. They got that squared away. But I thought the play calling really suited his skill set, and he made some really tough throws. This is probably the best one. Pressure from Matthew Betts right in his face, and just thread the needle there to Watson. Maybe the most important throw was an incompletion. A real deep ball to Tevin Jones. They didn't quite make the connection. But that might loosen up the secondary a little bit.
He looked composed. He didn't look overwhelmed. I think you have to be, I know it's only 3 points. Some people might be saying, are you guys nuts? But I thought Fine managed himself very well.
Yeah, he played fine.
So an offside on that kickoff against BC. So they will have to do that again. And anytime you have to kick it to this guy when you don't really need to, could be trouble.
Second straight 50-yard sprint for the cover team.
Alford at the 20 to the 30. And they do get a few extra yards out of it after the penalty, just shy of the 40, which is where Mason Fine will get the ball for the first time here in quarter number 3.
Numbers you mentioned, 18 of 22, and he a couple of those incompletions were throwaways, like decisions that he made to throw him out of bounds. Again, I agree with you 100%. His composure in just start number 3 has been excellent. What does Ryan Phillips draw up in this second half as adjustments? That's the question.
Just 1 sack for the BC Lions in that first half came from Barron. They'll hand it off. And a solid push ahead on first down for Jamal Morrill. That'll go for 5 yards.
Bring in big fullback Albert Awachi, can play tight end as well in this second down passing set. Although you can run screen draw here as well at 2nd and 5. One thing that I didn't make sense of when I was looking at the notes and the stats, 2 interceptions for this Lions team coming in tonight with a coach that had a bunch of them.
Oh, nowhere to go that time, busting through the line. Barron is there, tackle for a loss.
But, you know, when a guy, if you could choose between a big sack or a turnover, you'll take either one. And this is a big, might as well have been a sack because it's a tackle for a loss, tackle behind the line of scrimmage, same effect, which is Saskatchewan punting the football, and that was just shooting through the gap.
4th 2 and out of the game for the Riders. Korsak set to kick it away to Terry Williams. Long kick. Williams backing up. Catches it over his head. 62-yard kick. Now Williams looking for some blocking help. Won't get much of it, but does take it back outside the 20.
So after a few series, when Vernon Adams went down, Dane Evans comes in, and that first, or it wasn't the very first drive for Evans, but it was soon after he took the field. He went 101 yards, picked up the blitz nicely, hit Hatcher. This was the blitz play for the touchdown to Hollins. And then the Rider defense made some adjustments, but again, their front seven has got some pressure on Dane Evans and Vernon Adams tonight.
Well, BC completed just 5 passes in that entire first half, only attempted 11 with the pressure that the Riders had been bringing. Flags here as Evans fakes the handoff near side. Hollins hauls it in and will have a first down, lowers the boom on Henderson. Dalkey will come over and knock that ball away, and the officials separate them.
Offside. BC number 18. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
I think this is the 4th offensive offside for the BC Lions. They've already seen Rhymes with a couple. That one was against Justin McInnes, former Saskatchewan Roughrider, and they've been on successful first downs. Just takes the wind out of your sail early in an offensive drive to be now 1st and 15.
6th overall pick was McInnes back in 2019 of the Riders. Over 200 yards receiving and a touchdown already here with the Lions this season. Evans down the near side, intercepted at the 50, going up and getting it. His first of the season. Amari Henderson, and the Riders defense strikes again.
Alexander Hollins, we showed you with the touchdown throw, and this time he was down the rail on a go route, and he didn't think he was the target, so he kind of geared down. Dane Evans throws it out there, tries to put air under it, thinking he's going to run to it, and Amari Henderson, watch this. He's going down the sideline here. Watch how he gears down. He gets open, he's gearing down there, and then goes, oh, the ball's in the air. He tries to accelerate, and he can't get there.
Too late. Henderson was there waiting. Nice play on that ball, too. Fine a completion, and that'll be a first down as he gets it into the hands of Bain for the 7th catch of the game for Sean Bain.
Really like the play calling by Kelly Jeffrey, the offensive coordinator, for a young Mason Fine. To not ask him to do too much. They're moving the pocket around a little bit. We've seen play action, so they're going to different receivers. They've seen Bain on a lot of these little quick slants, quick hitches, things like that are high percentage and get you, especially on first down. Good calls on first down.
He turned his head and that ball was on the way. Hickson now slides back into the left of his quarterback. He'll give it to him. And Hickson, short pickup on first down right up the middle.
Keep in mind, this quarterback in his 3rd start is going against a defense that has only allowed 5 touchdowns in 78 possessions this season. Just 5 touchdowns in 78 possessions.
That sounds pretty good.
That's very good.
Fine, 19 of 23 for 143 yards, and he's looked after the football so far. Lions show some pressure, bring an extra body. Fine gets it away to Jones, and he hauls it in. Nice tackle there by Edwards Cooper, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, and that's why. That's one of the reasons they haven't given up a lot of touchdowns, because you get a second down situation. Mason Fine wants to take the easy throw. He does, and great tackling.
No yak yards today.
Yeah, exactly.
For the Riders, none.
Exactly.
As soon as the completion is made, tackle.
The idea that you make the first guy miss, it's been tough against this BC defense.
Rother to make it a 1-point game. 44-yarder, just inside his long on the season, and this is just inside the left hash. And he has the leg, and he knocks it through. And it's a 1-point ball game in the 3rd quarter in Vancouver. And I don't know if Mom's a guy that you want chasing you. BC leads here 7-6. Evans in at quarterback. Hands it off. And once again, neither team on the ground able to get anything going. That time it was Johnson who tripped up Shivers. Neither running back has reached 10 yards yet in this game. There's nowhere to run.
Well, it's interesting because Brian Cox Jr. is out, and it looks like he'll be gone for the rest of this game. And right now they're playing with Lake Corte Moore, who's a young guy. I mean, he's a draft pick. He's a rookie, UBC, great player. But he's playing weak side defensive end, and if you're BC, do you not test him with the run game off that side?
3rd overall pick in this year's draft, just 23 years old. Here's Evans. Pressure coming. Takes that ball back in. Now finds Lucky Whitehead, and Whitehead's got a first down up over midfield. And finally, the Lions offense in business here.
Pocket awareness from Dane Evans to slide out of there, and there's going to be a little bit of a stunt here with Corte Moore inside and Larry Dean faking like he's dropping and coming around the edge. And that's when Dane Evans has to just kind of make it up, slide out to the right, and 16-yard gain. Lucky Whitehead.
Evans now over 100 yards passing since coming into the game for an injured Vernon Adams. Whitehead slide over to the far side of the field. Evans gets it away. A completion for another first down. Staying on his feet and rumbling ahead. Katoy does it again. Second big catch of the game for him. This one goes for 21.
Well, this was directed in the direction of Lake Corte Moore to try and test him a little bit. And in this play, Jason Shivers dropped the young rookie defensive end. He's going to drop him into coverage, and he gets influenced a little bit. So he gets influenced by Shivers out to the flat and then leaves and vacates that curl route where Katoy catches the ball.
Looked like Tights had Shivers, didn't he?
So they double covered Shivers. Yeah. You know, mistake made, obviously, but picked up by Dane Evans. And
Katoy, who just made that play, is getting looked at. We will step away here from BC Place. CFL on TSN continues tomorrow as the Red Blacks face the Stampeders. Action kicks off at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific only on TSN. That one in Calgary. On CBS.
Game time decision, I understand, for Lorenzo Malden.
Evans, 1st and 10 from the Rider 31. Has it, finds Hatcher. Hatcher bounces off of Marshall and pushes it out of bounds around the 25.
Now Hatcher, a little bit slow to get up there over on the outside. Now I heard the guys at the panel talk about tackling and sometimes going low, and how David Sanchez often did it, but then thinks maybe we shouldn't have it. It's interesting, but listen, you got to wrap up either way. If you take them high or low, got to wrap up these guys. That's what Nick Marshall missed there.
Collins to one set, Whitehead to the other. Katoy out of the game right now. Rhymes has his helmet off down on the sideline watching as well. So a few options off the field for Evans. Too high for his short running back. Shivers just 5'7". Don't think he really had a crack at that one.
Yeah, you know, he's been a little bit, it almost looks uncomfortable, Dane Evans trying to throw to him. The ball has been a little bit hot, and certainly he can catch. That one overthrown. He didn't have a chance at it.
Evans 7 of 14, 141, touchdown and a pick. Sean White trots out here, 12 of 13 on the year, 92.3%. 31-yarder here for White. And that's pretty much money every time, as Sean White gives his home team a 4-point lead midway through the 3rd quarter. Well, it'll be tough to ever forget this, but this was fine. 3rd and 24 last week. 69-yard Hail Mary down the field to Tevin Jones, who hauls it in, takes it to the end zone. For more on that, let's send it down to Britt Dorn.
Yeah, and Mason Fine was very honest when asked about that play. He said, I'm not going to lie, there was a lot of luck on that, but ultimately you learn from it, you build from it, but there's a little bit of controversy between the two about the play, as Mason Fine says that, hey, I threw it up there, and Tevin Jones maybe, yeah, got lucky, but Tevin Jones says, no, I watched that ball come down, and I tried to tap it with my hand in order to get it ultimately in my hands and get the touchdown. He then says, well, Mason Fine doesn't believe me, and Mason Fine says that we've watched film. Some of the guys don't agree that his hand touched it first. We just think he got lucky. So there's a little bit of back and forth there. We've all watched the play a couple of times now, so I'm going to leave it up to you, Dustin and Glenn. Do you think Tevin Jones touched the ball before he actually caught the ball?
What do you got?
Well, you know, we watched it a lot before the game, and I think he got his glove in there, like on a backhand, and helped tip it up. So I'll go with the receiver on this one. Here's Fine on the run to his right, near side, and that was batted down by Quincy Mauger.
Yeah, well, let's take one more look at it. See who wins this argument. Tevin Jones, I think, did poke at it.
Watch here.
Yeah, now watch the right hand. Right hand, right there. There's a little
Right
poke.
there.
Now, I think he got a piece of it. I'm gonna go with Jones too.
I don't think he purposely popped it up to himself, but I think he got his hand in there.
The problem for the Riders was there was still 40 seconds left.
Yeah, too much time. Well, too much time if you execute very well, which is what the Stampeders did when they got that ball back. 2nd and 10 here for Fine. Needs to execute for a first down. That'll be 10 yards. Goes underneath a completion, but as we said, just nothing after the catch pretty much the entire afternoon, as he gets this one to Jones for the 4th time today.
A lot of these plays that the Saskatchewan Roughriders are running tonight are basically designed to have the receiver make a guy miss. And it's so far tonight, we went back and thought there might be one time on one throw where the Lions missed a tackle.
Yeah, Watson had one in the first half where he kind of got it in the flat and turned it upfield. But outside of that, BC's tackling on point this evening. Korsak from his 35.
Get on the bag.
Williams takes it at the 20 after a 45-yard kick. Williams running in, a little friendly fire there at the 30. And they'll mark him just outside the 30, which is where Dane Evans will take over once again with a 10-6 lead. BC has been tackling very well, and on the Riders side of it, it's been that pressure that's caused so many issues so far tonight.
Javon Katoy is back out there yet. We'll keep monitoring just how many weapons that Dane Evans has to work with. He's got Mackey, the fullback, David Mackey, out there now.
Shivers standing in behind his quarterback. Evans look to his left, turns straight up the middle of the field, and he's got a completion for a first down to the fullback, David Mackey.
Lines up as a tight end here, and he's going to be that tight end. He kind of sneaks up into the line, and then he releases and sits in the curl for a 12-yard gain. And there's the hole.
Sixth different player to catch a ball tonight for Maximic's offense. BC from their own 44. Moncrief shows some pressure. Now he's going to come. They'll hand it off to Shivers. Big contact at the 50, and they'll take him down. But that's his longest run of the ball game as it goes for 7.
I'm sure Jordan Maximic, you just saw a shot of, is trying to figure out different ways to get Shivers the football. They've tried to throw it to him a couple times and it just doesn't seem to be working. So they're going back to the old-fashioned handoff. Two great young offensive coordinators in this game, and Jordan Maximic and Kelly Jeffrey, with Canadian football backgrounds.
BC 3 for 12 on second down in this game. 10 points on the board so far. Back to Shivers, trying to push ahead, not going to get it. Just no room for him to go. Marcus Christmas, among others, there to clog up the hole.
Well, decision time, it looks like, because they're going to be short here.
Yeah, a couple of yards.
You know, Rick Campbell, that's just destroying the A-gap. And that was Dane Evans is going to talk to Shivers and say, hey, go north-south on those plays. Don't dance around in the hole, or else these big guys are going to close it down.
Flintoff to 3rd and 2, comes out to kick it away. Alford contained so far tonight. And they'll force him over to the sideline again, and that ball will bounce out just inside the 20. The Riders hanging around on the road against the BC Lions. Well, by his early season standards, a little bit of a quiet night for Betts so far, but look at what he has done in some elite company already.
Well, on pace for 32 quarterback sacks. Now, you know, these things balance out as you continue to play, and right now the Riders have him with the goose egg in the sack department so far tonight. He has a couple of pressures. He's been in the backfield a little bit. Sometimes you're trying to set up your next move. See if he gets one here as the game goes on.
Riders have allowed 20 sacks coming into this game. It's 8th in the league. Just 1 sack so far today. Now this will be handed off to Morrow. Short pickup on first down. Just a couple of yards for Jamal Morrow, who is yet to break free this evening. Do you stick with this, Suits? Or do you try to get him out into the flat? Or how do you get it going?
Remember the Bomber game against Edmonton a couple nights ago? 4th quarter, and Buck Pierce starts calling Brady Oliveira's number, and he gets over 100, most of it in the 4th quarter. Stick with it.
Goes to Morrow, out of the backfield. Morrow turning it. Looked like a little bit of a face mask there, and I think that's why that flag comes flying out. Was it Betts or Halatic, the guilty party after a 7-yard pickup?
There is no flag on the play. 3rd down.
All right, so they pick that one up.
Take a look, because it looked like Betts was part of it, and he doesn't get a chance to rush the quarterback or get to the Tailback, he's got the top of his helmet. That's why he thought it looked like a face mask. But he caught the top of his helmet.
Riders offense on the field here for a 3rd and 2 on their own 42. And now we get whistles on the field.
Timeout, BC.
So BC seeing the Riders offense out there. Campbell calling a timeout.
Yeah, they were scrambling a little bit to thinking that the Riders would probably punt the ball there, and then, well, they had their defense hustled on. They weren't set. Didn't have a call probably made by then.
So 3rd and 2, 4-point game. Lots of time left.
I'm kicking it.
Ball's on your own 4. Okay, that's what I was going to ask. You knew where I was going, because I'm thinking you probably kick it too.
I'm kicking it.
And they're not even bringing in Dolagala, who handled short yardage earlier in this game, or Patterson, who they like to move around.
But one thing you can do here is you can make this whole show here go on, and then try to draw them offside. If you don't, then you send your punt team to take it away. Yeah.
3rd and 2 on the Rider 42. Is it all for show? No. They'll snap it. They give it to Morrow, and he's going to be stopped short.
Where are they going to place it? It's going to be close.
I don't think he had it. They needed the 43. It'll be close.
It was 2 yards. And let's see. First contact by Lacombo there. Woods behind it. I think you might be right, Dustin. I'm not sure he got that 2 yards he needed.
It's just the initial push wasn't enough, and then it didn't look like there was any more forward momentum. I mean, if that's where the ball's going to be spotted, that will be short.
I think you're right.
Pretty sure they needed the full 43, and that ball looks shy of it. I thought they were just going to try to draw him offside.
Yeah. We've seen that strategy many, many times in games. No, he's short. You know, and when I said I kick it, there's 2 things to that. 1, you're in your own end.
Yeah.
2, it's early. It's a 1-possession game. And 3, you're playing against a really good tackling team. And we've been talking about it all game long.
Odds are Morrow's not breaking a tackle somewhere in here, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good tackling team that closes quickly. And Lacombo there and Woods off the top. I mean, they were there in the backfield.
Now, I'll spin it this way. The Riders have a lot of faith in what their defense has done so far today. So maybe hold them to 3 here or something along those lines.
We'll see.
Dan Evans, though, would love to make them pay on this one. 1st and 10 from the Rider 43. On the run to his right, Micah Johnson coming, and he guns it down the field to Hatcher for a completion and a 1st down. Great throw on the run.
It really was. You know, he throws a nice ball. I mean, this is Hatcher on the outside. He's going to work the one-on-one and come back right to the sticks. And he pushes his man up the field. That's Jeremy Clark, and then puts the brakes on, turns around at the sticks. And Dan Evans throws a really nice ball. Tight spiral.
164 yards through the air for Evans. Vernon Adams had just 1 completion for 8 yards prior to his injury. From the Saskatchewan 32, Evans wants it all. Down the field! No! Incomplete! Looking for the former Rider McInnes, but Jeremy Clark is there with the denial.
Yeah, you know, though, McInnes, it looked like he had it. It looked like he'd hit his hands just before Clark got there. And he just bobbles it. Again, just a great throw, roll away, and then backside seam, skinny post, but it was in his hands, and bobble gives Clark a second to get there, and he stuck with it and knocked it out.
Just enough time to make the play.
Can't throw it any better than that.
"14 catches on the year for McInnes coming into the game tonight." Here's Evans, steps up, takes the underneath route. First down to the 20 as he gets it to Hollins. Taken down by Dean.
That pass rush is slowing a little bit for Saskatchewan now. And there's some escape lanes. Remember what Micah Johnson said to Britt on the sideline. Said on the sideline, we've got to rush together. We've got to rush together. If we don't rush together, you leave escape lanes. And that's where Dane Evans stepped in and hit Hollins on the crosser.
First visit to the red zone today for the home side. Lucky Whitehead and Hatcher at the top of your screen. Hollins, who has a touchdown down the left. I'll hand it off to Shivers. Shivers with a flag on the play, looking towards the end zone. And it's in! Touchdown Shivers! Second in as many games, but it's not going to count. Holding call against the Lions will bring that baby back.
Pete Robertson made the signal.
Holding. BC number 88. It's a 10-yard penalty. It'll be 2nd and 20. This will end the third quarter.
I think the number was 86.
Yeah, no 88s in the lineup. Shivers thought he had a 20-yard touchdown. Hold right there from Catoy.
Yep.
Wipes it off the board. "15 minutes remaining in BC, where the Lions lead 10-6 so far. What jumps off the page for you, Glenn?
Well, it just seems to me that, first of all, the quarterbacks, Mason Fine being a young guy and Dane Evans coming in for Vernon Adams, that changes things for them. He's looked pretty good in this third quarter. But we're seeing more penalties than we normally. The little ones, offside, procedure, taking plays off, little holding here and there. It's a hot night tonight. I'm going to give them a little bit of an alibi that maybe the concentration slipped a little bit in some of those situations.
It is hot. It's sweaty in the booth. I mean, look at my forehead. This is ridiculous.
But that's not an excuse at this level, obviously, and you can clean that up. That took a touchdown off the board, that little holding.
Now, instead of the touchdown, it's a 1st and 20 from the 30 for Evans. Shivers stands in next to him. Now he flares out to the right. They'll give it to him. Shivers tries to make the move. Good tackle from Henderson, who had an interception earlier in the half. This time he wraps up a shifty little number 28. So there's another way to try to get Shivers involved, right? But a good tackle from the Riders. BC 4-1 on the year, looking to go to 5-1 and improve to 4-0 against the West. 2nd and 17 here, though. 4-man rush. Evans back to his running back again. He's gobbled up immediately by the former UBC Thunderbird, Corte Moore.
Yeah, that's a real good play by Corte Moore, who was also a downhill skier, if you can picture that, on the slalom course and downhill. And it's been a lot of the pandemic in Whistler, BC, beautiful Whistler, and a lot of skiing, and he's got a whole bunch of family and friends out here, UBC teammates out watching this game tonight.
Sean White sneaks that one through just inside the left upright, and BC now on top by 7. All business for Sean White now, 14-15 on the year.
Well, that's 3 points after the gamble from Craig Dickinson, but also the holding call on Javon Catoy, and I think that's probably his first penalty of the year. I don't remember one prior to this, but that holding call went from a touchdown and 2 possessions to remain a 1-possession game with the field goal. So you're on the road, you're in 1 possession, you're in good place. Here's that holding one more time. Again, just a little bit sloppy on Moncrief grabbing the jersey. There's no question on the call. Yeah.
Mason Fine and the Riders offense have to settle for a couple of field goals. Now he wants a big chunk, and he's got it down the field. Emelis hauls it in. Second catch of the game for Emelis.
Big throw to get it out there. That's a long way to go on the deep out, and you don't, as a defensive corner out here, you don't believe it. You think this is a deep route going back into the middle to help the quarterback and shorten the distance. Can he throw a wide field out that far? Yeah, again.
Second 18-yarder of the game for Emelis. Up to the BC 52. Fine. Gets it away. Intercepted on the far side of the field. Gary Peters lays out and hauls it in. First mistake of the game for Mason Fine is the first interception of the season for Gary Peters. And what an interception it was.
Well, this is a timing route from Sam Emelis. He's got to come up here, run the curl, and then bang back outside. The timing on this is crucial. If he doesn't get the ball immediately, in other words, he gets up the field here, he's going to go curl and then bang back out, and the timing is off for Mason Fine. He has to step in and move around the rush. Because the timing's off, Peters jumps.
Yeah! Yes, sir! You know what time it is. 12th career interception for Peters. Evans on the run to his right, goes to Hatcher. He's taken out immediately. Heavy tackle there from C.J. Rivas.
Here's why the timing was off for Mason Fine. It's off because watch the pressure. So right now, this is the bang route. You got to throw it now. If you can't throw it there, you're in trouble on the timing, and he takes a whack too from Lacombo. But a veteran DB will jump. The ball's not out there on time.
2nd and 7 for Evans in this offense. 4-man rush. Evans over the middle, down the field. This time it's hauled in. Redemption for McKinnis. No bobble there. And he's got him down to the 30.
McKinnis going to be the trailer in the trips to the left side, the wide side of the field. A little bit of changing of responsibilities, and he's just going straight down the numbers. Moncrief is deep. He gets influenced by that inside curl and doesn't get out there in time.
Dane Evans in a relief appearance, over 200 yards passing. 1st and 10 from the Rider 30. Looks to the right. Now he'll take his running back. Shivers has to go down and get it. And a loss on the play.
Dane Evans has thrown a lot of nice balls tonight. I mean, he's made some good throws, but he is really struggling trying to get it to Shivers.
It's too high. It's too low.
It's like he's trying to hone in on his height. Look at, they're both kind of going, oh man, this is just, it's harder than it needs to be.
Shivers reminds me of Speedy Gonzalez back in the day. You know, a little fast, moving around, crazy.
It's been tough for Evans to hone in on little 28. He's only 5'7".
Evans will call Hatcher and Whitehead over to his left. Looks that way first. Now he's going to step up and take off on the run. Christmas grabs him and takes him down. And that'll bring up 3rd down for the Lions, and Sean White will be called back out to work.
But this is an important field goal now. This takes it to 2 possessions. Ideal time when everybody knows that to try a fake field goal. But no, I'm taking the points.
take the 3, go up 10 against the defense that essentially doesn't allow touchdowns.
I know. I'm just throwing it in there. But at the end of the day, there's no way. I'm taking the points and the 2 possessions here in a defense that is still not giving up a touchdown tonight. And is now, what, 5 and over 80
well
possessions.
Over 80 possessions. Yeah.
Only 5 touchdowns all year allowed. Yeah, you're taking the points here.
Sean White usually good for them. 33-yarder just inside the left hash. The White from the top to hold. And White once again tucks it inside that left upright. And BC's lead now sits at 10, 16-6 at home against the Riders. Mason Fine, 23 of 29, 176, and an interception on their last drive is his night so far. Not much help in the running game, just 9 yards on 9 carries for Jamal Morrow, which is somewhat remarkable, even against this stout BC defense. First and 10 from his own 40, down by 10. Gets it to Jones, and there's an excellent tackle again. Edwards Cooper gets the job done.
Yeah, no matter, there's lots of time left, and this is only 2 possessions, but I just want to remind fans, especially Saskatchewan fans, 6 seasons for Anthony Calvillo. You know, you've got 5, it was the 5th season before Damon Allen got going and became a star. Ron Lancaster, one of the greats of all time, the late Ron Lancaster, was 51% through more interceptions than touchdowns in his first 2 years before becoming a star. You got to be patient with these young guys.
Lancaster would have been ripped on Twitter hard. 32 interceptions over 2 seasons. He would have been trending.
Well, I say that because I like a lot of what we've seen. I mean, we've seen some young quarterbacks do some good things. Crum in Ottawa, and Mason Fine here tonight has done some good things. He threw the pick on the last series, and it's going to be a little roller coaster ride with young quarterbacks. So enjoy it. But some of the greatest of all time took 3, 4, 5 years to become great.
BC number 28. That penalty's declined. Result of the play is a first down.
That would be BC 29, I believe. Edwards Cooper, 28 is Shivers.
Now, what will go a long way for Mason's obviously a drive and a touchdown against this stout defense, because this is getting up to unreal numbers. 5 touchdowns allowed all year.
Up to the Rider 51. Fine with time. Down the field, intercepted again inside the 40. Edwards Cooper's first pick of the year. 2nd consecutive for Fine.
Yeah, Fine is going to take full accountability for this one. This was just, he stared down Stephen Jones. He looked at him the whole way, and he underthrew him.
BC Lions defense. They don't break. They barely bent. Edwards Cooper takes it away.
Put a little bit of the pressure on the receiving corps, too, to make the right decisions. I mean, it looked like on that interception, Tevin Jones is going to run the out here, and then he decides to change his mind and go downfield. Now, maybe that was designed and Jones did the right thing and Mason threw the wrong ball, or maybe Tevin Jones did that on his own and Mason Fine went, well, that was supposed to be the deep out, the comeback. Either way, they get it straightened out over there.
Less than 8 minutes to go. We'll toss this into the hands of Hollins with speed and a first down. Deontay Williams sends him out of bounds. Let me know when I'm
Dynamic core. You can go to a lot of spots. We've seen Hatcher with some big ones. The guy who's been a little bit quiet tonight has been Rhymes. In fact, I'm not sure we've seen much of him on the field. We'll see if we get an update on him, but this guy is underrated in a big way. Alexander Hollins.
Well, with other guys missing time, he's had an excellent start to the season. Rhymes hasn't played in the second half, standing on the sideline with his helmet off.
Get out of there, Sean.
Now they'll get it to Shivers. Short pickup on the initial push ahead, but not much after.
Big down here. Big down coming up right now. Out of field goal range. Dane Evans. We can go down and score now. He really starts to separate. It becomes that much tougher to. Defense looks like they're getting a little bit tired at this point in the game. This is a big one.
Lions 5 for 17 on second down in the game. 2nd and 9 here. Riders show heat and they bring it. Evans backpedaling, gets it away down the middle. Incomplete. Well over the head of McInnes.
Jason Shivers knew it as well. He knew it as well. He said, let's see. I've got my whole kitchen back there. I'm sending it all, including the kitchen sink. Because he just said, I'm loading it up and we're coming. And let's see if you can pick it up, read it, get set, and throw that deep ball. And there was one more that I didn't even see before we started that came off the edge as well. That was full out blitz.
Mario Alford lurking back at his own 10. High kick. It's going to hang up there. Alford takes it at the 13. Alford has nowhere to go. Lions downfield in a hurry. And eventually just gave up there with Josh Woods right in his face.
Well, now he's got to come back. Whether it was Tevin Jones' fault or his fault or both in a combination, whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters now is the next one. And you know, that's the young quarterbacks have to try to figure it out, how you flush one play or even two or a couple of series and then go back a little. Do you see that little wink to Tevin Jones? Don't worry about that. We'll get it back right now.
Last 3 possessions for the Riders. They turned it over on downs on their own 42 when it was a 4-point game. Since then, the drives have ended in back-to-back interceptions. Mason Fine got to put something together here. Out to his right. Has Jones. Short pickup, and once again, no yards after the catch. Rugamba and Halanek take care of business.
Listening to the play from Kelly Jeffrey there and then communicating it out. Block is now an enemy of the Riders.
5-yard pickup to Jones. They'll need it again. This time they hand it off, and never a chance for Jamal Morrow. Takes the loss.
And a call that Kelly Jeffrey wants back. Yeah, I think you can tell by that reaction. You're 2nd and 5. You know, you got to trust the kid too. I mean, he's coming off a couple of interceptions, but trust him, get him outside, and you got to throw against 2nd and medium.
One, you call a run play, and your running back has 9 yards so far in this game. Like they haven't been able to run the ball at all.
And sometimes it's like they don't expect it.
So maybe a
2nd down, so you try to, but
tough to do against this BC defense. So
you could tell by his reaction he wanted that call back.
Borsak kicks it just inside the 50 for Williams. Williams wrapped up, but excellent field position for Evans. We got a big one coming up. Heading out east with touchdown Atlantic next Saturday, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. The Argos and these Riders you're watching here tonight.
Dwayne Ford's calling that one this year, and he'll do a great job out there. But I had so much fun last year. Crowds were great.
There was a fumble prior to down with contact, recovered by Saskatchewan.
Wow.
Oh. This play is automatically reviewed by the command center.
Okay. Foxcroft gives us the heads up.
Because there was no signal there at all through that minute.
So they're thinking Terry Williams fumbled it on the return.
We'll take another look, see the end of it. To see when the ball came out from that.
Yeah, looked like it came out on the way down, but you didn't see it until after he was down. Maybe this helps.
Yeah, and you can't. It's automatically reviewed.
Oh, that's out. Did you see that hit his leg on the way down?
Here's another look.
After automatic review of the fumble by command center, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down, Saskatchewan.
Was it Jaden Dahlke that might have stripped that out? Well, another crack at it with 4.5 minutes left for the Riders.
And Kelly Jeffries goes, all right.
Yeah,
needed that.
I mean, I'm going to bet they probably don't hand it off tomorrow here, but we'll see.
On 2nd and 7?
Yeah, we'll see.
Not.
1st and 10 here for Fine. Still has time, but they got to do something with it. Takes the handoff. Has a ton of time. Looks to the far side of the field. Jones is wide open, and he hauls it in. Tevin Jones down to the 30, and he's swung down at the 20. Biggest play of the game for the Riders offense.
Well, they're loading up the line of scrimmage, Saskatchewan, to get better protection for Mason Fine. I mean, look at the wall across the board here. And he has all day to stand back there, wait, blocked up over here, and wait for Tevin Jones to cross the 65 yards, the width of the field, to get all the way to the other side for a 44-yard gain.
Riders, red zone, had to settle for 2 field goals so far. Less than 3.5 to play, down 10. Empty backfield for Fine. And he finds his fullback down inside the 15. Awachi's got it. Decent pickup on first down. Want to move quickly here.
Try and get one more before the 3-minute warning. They're efficient. But you need the field goal, so you don't want to make a poor decision here.
Fine. Hands it off. Morrow once again stopped in his tracks on second down.
But the call was a good one on 2nd and 2. It's different.
Yeah, but when you're only averaging 1, I don't know. Less than 3 to go.
Too much math. There's too much math.
Riders down 10. Time now for your Coors Light moment of chill. And we look to Lake Corte Moore, the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Played for UBC back in Vancouver. Bunch of friends and family.
Ben Haladic, one of his good friends and former teammates with the UBC Thunderbirds. And chilling.
With Cox going out, more opportunity for Corte Moore.
The phone lines will be lit up if they don't make this on 3rd and 2. They're leaving the offense out there. I think you take the field goal here and make it a 1-possession game.
Field goal would make it a 16-9 game. Instead, they're going to look for at least 2 yards here. Fine. Hands it off to Morrow. Morrow trying to turn it in, and he's got it. Takes it down inside the 10. The most important carry of the game for Jamal Morrow. Needed 2, and he got 3. Wow.
I'll tell you what, even if it works, I'm going to stick with my guns and say I'd have taken the 3 and made it 1 possession, but Morrow right there ducks under the tackle of Marcus Sales because he had him for a loss.
Wow. First and goal from the BC 9 for Fine. Low snap. Picks it up. Pressured, in trouble. Hammered down. Lions defense gets home. Taking him down at the 20. Woody Barron. 2nd sack of the game.
This time Ryan Phillips had something drawn up for just this opportunity. They get the first to get some momentum, and Phillips says, okay, I'm sending some pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Time up, Saskatchewan.
Tighten down that chin strap. Great there.
Riders are calling a timeout. 2nd and goal now, but from the BC 18.
This decision's important. Still time.
Still might settle for that field goal.
That's what I'm saying. About, right? It's still time for a field goal, and then either onside or deep kick. 2 and out. Maybe just under a minute to go. Calgary won last week with 40 seconds to go.
Fine in the pocket, gets it away, has a completion just outside the 5. Gunned it in there for Bain. And that will bring up 3rd and goal from the BC 6.
Yeah, they're going to take the points now.
Bother for a chip shot to make it a 1-possession game. 3rd field goal of the night for Lother, and all the offense that the Riders have generated so far. 14 yards. And he knocks it through. 1:53 on the clock.
That's the upside for Saskatchewan fans. Downside is Craig Dickinson burned his timeout. And they ended up with 3 anyway.
And a minute off the clock.
With the 3rd and 2 a minute ago.
Yeah. It was that sack on 1st and goal that really blew up the strategy that the Riders were working with.
Now, having said that, it looks like from that picture that they're trying to remind everyone on the onside kick assignments. The other side, they're doing the same thing on the onside kick return. That's Coach Benavides. The front line, his job is to try to get a little bit of a block or make sure that the covered team has to run around you, take a wide route around you so that the returner can settle in under the ball.
Williams will head back just in case. He stands at the 30. Riders line up for the onside attempts. 3 field goals for Lothar. Can he drop one in here perfectly? Riders looking to get the ball back. Down 7 on the road. Lothar, I don't know if it's going to get there. And that is taken cleanly. Nice play there by Catoy, who's been banged up at times tonight, but he settled in under that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That looked like it might have been about 2 yards short on the kick. This is a tough kick to make. You got to be high to allow your cover team to try and get underneath it. You can't block the returner, so that's a problem, or else you get interference. And they don't do that. Tights can't go into Catoy and knock him down while he's trying to play the ball, but they can block the other guys. Good recovery by Javon Catoy.
Evans with a 7-point lead in the ball on the Rider 37. Gives it to Shivers right up the middle. Dean grabs him immediately, takes him down at the 35.
Well, the Saskatchewan call-in shows this week.
Some decision making they can discuss, eh?
Tonight, it's going to be interesting. Now, there's still time. This is the 2nd down play, but they're in field goal range now, the Lions. Get that field goal right back and make it a 10-point game again.
Pop it back up to 10. Once again, Shivers settles in behind Evans. Lions looking to go to 3-0 at home and 4-0 against the West. They'll give it to Shivers, hangs on again. Back to the line of scrimmage there at the 35. And that will bring up 3rd down, and Sean White will come out looking to regain that cushion.
Excellent ball security there from Shivers. Wrapped it up, both arms over it, made sure of it, because the Riders needed to try to rip it out there. Now, if, and this is a big if, that guy's back there, because Sean White has been money. Not just this year.
One of the most accurate kickers of all time.
Of all time. And put the pressure on him, and it hasn't bothered him at all. Lions fans are going, I can't believe you're jinxing the kicker. And I guarantee you, folks, it has nothing to do with what we say up here.
Timeout, BC.
I'm pretty sure that Sean White can't hear us.
Probably not. Pretty big crowd in here tonight. Can't hear us from the booth, but BC calls a timeout here. 3rd and 7. This will be a 42-yarder. White's already made one from 42 and a couple of others tonight. This will be from just inside the right hash.
1 minute and 6 seconds on the game clock. 1:06. Thank you.
They're going to toss 3 seconds back up on the board. So 66 seconds remaining in this game. A loss would bump the Riders down to 500 on the season. Sean White from 42. To almost seal this thing away. That is up. And that is good. Never in doubt. And BC goes on top, 19-9.
The special teams have been a big part of this Lions win tonight because the cover teams on Alfred all game long have been excellent. They've got a money field goal, so kicker, so they can count on that, take that to the bank, and then the onside kick recovery from Javon Catoy. Benavides had it prepared tonight.
BC, we talked about their defense coming into this game. 17 points per game is all they allow. First in the league. 256 yards of offense per game. First in the league. Only 205 yards allowed through the air. First in the league. And they allow about 82 yards on the ground. Tonight, the Riders have 16. So they've even locked that up a little bit more. This Lions team has allowed 5 touchdowns in 85 opposition offensive possessions.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Teams score 1 out of every 17 times they get the ball against these guys. Flintoff, short kick. You don't want to kick it to Alford in this situation. This will be picked up, brought back to the 50 by the big man. So good hands on it, didn't he?
The beer just rumbling up there. Look at this. This is pretty athletic there. I like maybe short yardage down on a goal line play.
I imagine a power return game. That's what I want to see. Change the game entirely.
And I'm telling you what, if you're a cover guy, a little DB coming down there to try to tackle him, you're going low. You're not taking it. You're not taking him on high.
There's the line on Fine tonight. First and 10 from the 51. It's a 3-man pressure. Fine gets away, finds his fullback again. And a good job pushing ahead. Probably just shy of the first down, about 9 yards for Awachi, who had no catches coming into this game. A couple of them here in the fourth quarter.
So now the question and the discussion will be on the play of Mason Fine throughout the game. And I thought he played quite well. 2 interceptions were mistakes, obviously.
Now he's going to look down the field, way down the field, incomplete. Laying out for it was Tevin Jones, working against Gary Peters, and neither of them got close.
You know, and if you look at Twitter at times, they'll say, "Oh, come on, if you lose a game, you didn't play well," and that's just not the case. I mean, sometimes you can sign your painting even though the scoreboard says you didn't win. I'm not sure if Tevin Jones was at fault in one of those interceptions. Timing was, and the pressure was on the other.
3rd and 1. Fine. Completion, first down, as he goes back to Bain. Bain's been targeted 10 times in this game. Jones targeted 10 times as well, and Fine over 270 yards in the game.
And always keep in mind that the whole receiving core that's getting closer to returning. Braden Ledius should be very close.
Fine. Dumps it off to Morrow. Morrow takes it inside the 35 as the clock ticks down to 16 seconds. Let's take a look at the West standings. The Riders will fall to 3-3. BC goes to 5-1. Bombers at 5-2 heading into a bye. Here's Fine. He'll heave this one up towards the end zone, and that is broken up. Looking for MLS, the Lions all over it with 4 seconds on the clock.
Gary Peters has the first interception of the season tonight. He almost had his second there on, when MLS trying to get this jump ball. They did it last week with Tevin Jones. But again, that board we showed you a while ago on just some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Anthony Calvillo, Damon Allen, late Ron Lancaster, Kent Austin. We're talking 2-3 years before they became stars. I think you got something to build on with Mason Fine alone.
2nd and 10. Final play of the game, and Fine will be sacked by Betts, his 10th sack of the season, and he waves bye-bye to the Riders. First sack of the game for Betts is the one that finishes it all.
And gets him to double figures. First guy in the league to do that this year. Willie Jefferson's chasing him down, but he gets number 10. Stays on that outstanding pace. What a great bull rush, too. Wow.
Lions defense outstanding in this game. Mason Fine, the story coming in. Overall, how do we summarize his first start of the year?
You know, I didn't think he played bad. That defense has now given up just 5 touchdowns in almost 90 possessions. It's a tough defense to beat. He held his own tonight.
Something to work with for sure. Fine throws the ball 41 times, completes 32 of them for 284, but a couple of interceptions along the way against the BC Lions defense that just doesn't allow anything. Vernon Adams had to leave this game due to injury. Evans comes in, throws for over 200 yards and a touchdown as well, as the BC Lions go to 5-1 on the year. The Riders sitting at 500, and that'll do it for us. From BC Place in Vancouver, Sports Center is next.